Ladies and gentlemen, now it's Too Late with Alan Mosley.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi. You know what's wild is we decided this year that we would do something that we did a couple of years ago, but then haven't done the last year or two, most just for scheduling reasons and whatever, which was we would do a community stream where we would try to run through the entire College Bowl schedule. And for longtime viewers of the show, they will remember that normally on an actual episode of It's Too Late, we do 20, 30 minutes, intro. Me and Dave are like, oh, hey, it's Dave and I hate you. And then there's memes and then we answer questions. And then there's about 30, 35 minutes for the guest segment. And we had our old friend, Justin Campbell, come on the show and he and I were going to run through and make our picks for the entire College Bowl schedule, which is like 47 games or something like that.
There's a lot of games.
There's a lot of them. And I told Justin, listen, Justin, we only got like 30 minutes, so gotta be snappy. That episode was almost 2 hours long.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So just yeah. But I thought this year, you know what, we won't make it like a regular episode because we've already got Christmas stuff planned for next week and for the week of Christmas. We're doing an episode of It's Too Late on Christmas Eve. I don't know how that's going to go. Probably very cheerfully. There'll be lots of merrymaking, I predict. I've got the storybook right over here off screen. We're going to read our book like we do every year. And we already have our same guest that we have every year for Christmas as well lined up. I see people in chat talking. They're saying that I called Justin old. I didn't say he's old. He's our old friend. He's been our friend for a long time is what that means. But actually he is old because there he is right there. There's Justin Campbell of the Fact Check This podcast. Justin, how are you doing?
I am terrible, almost dead, but tomorrow I have surgery and then I will be rejuvenated. So
wow.
Well, I meant to bring this up with you before we started the show, Justin, because I didn't know if that was something you wanted to talk about or mention, or if you were like, oh no, I would rather not make that public. But since you already mentioned it, I'm going to assume that it's okay. Because I only know a little bit of what the hell's going on with you. You told me like a year ago that you're having a hard trouble eating, and then the doctor said your esophagus was like hamburger.
Oh.
And that's it. Yeah. And that's the last thing I heard. And so I just assumed you were dead. But now you're here. So what happened?
Yeah. So the doctor that told me that my esophagus was hamburger said, but we can't find anything wrong with you. So here's some anti-inflammatory medicine, and we're just going to leave you to die. And I was fine with that. I was just going to die. And my wonderful wife was not accept that. She found a new doctor and got a second and then a third opinion. And what we ended up finding out was my esophagus just closed itself off, basically. And so I would eat and nothing would go through, and I would throw up a bunch, and I've lost like 50 pounds, and it's been a rough year, but we finally got a doctor that was like, okay, this is what's actually going on, and there's a surgery that we can do to fix it. And usually they said it's over 90% of the time you have this surgery, and then that's it. You never have another problem again. So tomorrow morning I'll be going in, and they're going to run a scope down my throat, cut my esophagus, and then put it back together with like surgical clips. And after that, in about a month, I'll be as good as gold. So yeah, it's been a fucking ride.
I want people to understand. I've also lost about 50 pounds, but I was fat. So that was 50 pounds of just dead weight that I was killing myself with food. But Justin was kind of skinny when I met him. And so I don't know where those 50 pounds came from. Did you just, is it actually diabetes? Did they amputate a foot or something, Justin? 50 pounds seems like a lot for you, buddy.
50 pounds is a lot for me. I am back to my high school weight, and I never had any desire to go back to my high school weight. So it's been rough. My wife made me take pictures the other day so she could do like before and after, because I have a pretty decent workout routine anyway, and it just doesn't accomplish anything because I don't get any nourishment into my system with the way this is. So I'm like strong as ever, but as skinny as ever because I work out all the time, but I can't hold weight on. So my wife made me take pictures the other day, and like seeing because we have like a bathroom mirror that is just the mirror on the wall, and so I see my stuff from like here up, and like we don't have any full body mirrors around, so I don't really like looking down at yourself. You can't really tell. She took the pictures and showed it to me, and I was like, oh man, I'm like gone. There's nothing left of me. So,
however,
both of your 50 pounds.
However, this is the perfect time for you to audition for Schindler's List.
Ooh.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I sorry, I had to switch over to hit the laugh button because this guy who runs my show didn't do it for me. All right. So this is what we're going to do. Justin is here, and we've got one more college football related topic, Justin, that I'm going to drop on you last second, and you and I are going to talk about it. And then Dave is going to switch us over to browser mode, and we're going to talk about every single college football game. But we've got one extra little wrinkle. As a fun little activity, both for us with Justin, but also for our audience over there in the live chat, we're going to, from game to game, have little quiz questions. Most of them being, where is this bowl game being played? And where are these podunk colleges that are playing in the game located? So I thought that would be a pretty fun game for us, because I'll tell you what, I didn't know where South Carolina State was until I looked it up. So, just saying. If you know more of them than me, Justin, then I'll be highly impressed. But before we get to that, Justin, I got to ask you, what do you think of Notre Dame being left out of the college football playoff?
Oh.
I mean, I didn't like Alabama being in, but I would have rather seen BYU in than Notre Dame, just because of Notre Dame's poor strength of schedule. And I watched several Notre Dame games. I didn't think they looked super impressive. They won games that they should have won, but to get left out, like, of those teams that were on the bubble, talking about it like it's it's March Madness, but for the teams that were on the bubble, I think they were the most deserving to be left out behind Alabama. But to then turn around and just decline to play in a bowl at all after being left out, that's probably the most damning part of it. Like, they deserve to be left out if that's the way they're going to behave.
Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. I discussed this with our friend Mike Meharry, who I've done sports ball with, and he and I are in pretty close agreement on this. The first issue being, yes, the public temper tantrum that Notre Dame and its athletic department and its AD in particular have been throwing since the playoff format came out has just been delicious. I've loved every minute of it. They're such absolute crybabies. The second thing is you're right. They like, okay, cool. You won a bunch of consecutive games against bottom feeders. Congratulations. You know what? They played two good teams. They started the year against them and they went 0-2. That's how they wound up in this situation, right? That's what happened. I've already seen people pointing out that they have a letter of understanding with the playoff committee going into 2026 that should they be ranked in the top 12 in the event that the playoff, like, say, gets expanded to 14 teams, then it would be assumed that Notre Dame would be guaranteed one of those spots. So first of all, why would they get that special treatment? I think 130 other Division I schools should all be suing the NCAA if Notre Dame has some sort of letter in writing saying, "Oh, but we get we get one of these spots automatically if we're ranked here because we're us." No, that's ridiculous. But you know what? For people that they don't want griping, they want answers. I've got the perfect answer for absolutely everyone. Here it is. Notre Dame is banned from postseason play until they join a conference. There you go.
There was a meme. Somebody it became a meme after somebody made a post on X that said, if Notre Dame feels like they should have gotten in over the 12-1 Sun Belt champion, then they're always welcome to join the Sun Belt Conference. It's like,
yeah. I mean, I what I had said to Meharry is first of all, they're going to join a conference. It's just a matter of when. Second of all, it's going to be the Big Ten. They play tons of Big Ten teams every year all the time anyway. They're going to join the Big Ten. It's just a matter of when it happens. They're going to drop all this independence BS sooner than later. They're going to join the Big Ten because I think that the conference realignment era in which we live, which I hate, by the way, I'm totally against all of the changes that have taken place to college football, but it's not going to stop. Eventually, it's going to be like the Big Ten and the SEC, and then everyone else. It's pretty much already there. It's going to get even more there. There's always a chance that you could have like a third power conference form from like all of the leftovers, but I think the ship has already sailed on that. I think that the other, like the Big 12, the old Pac-12, even the ACC, I think what teams remain are going to get poached. Most of them have already been poached. I think the best teams from the ACC are going to end up joining the SEC. I think the Big Ten will expand again, and the biggest one will be they'll get Notre Dame, and then that'll be it. It'll just be, there you go. It's the Big Ten and the SEC, and then whatever. They'll be the AFC and NFC, and then they'll just be at-large bids that are totally outside of those two conferences. But all that's my prediction. But all that being here, they're there. As it pertains specifically to Notre Dame, I love that they were left out. I don't want to hear anybody's convoluted 22-step reason for why they think Notre Dame belonged in. We all know that at the end of the day, it kind of came down to them in Miami, and Miami beat them. I cannot believe anyone is doing any more mental gymnastics to prove that doesn't count.
yeah, absolutely. And going back to the conference realignment stuff, like the ACC is going to get cannibalized by the SEC eventually, and then, like you said, all the leftovers are going to end up just being at large or form their own extras conference number 3 in the country. And yeah, it's Notre Dame's strength of schedule just wasn't good. Like you said, the two teams that were actually good that they played, they got beat. The rest of the schedule was pretty soft. So yeah, I mean, they can make fun of SEC for soft out of conference scheduling, but when you're Notre Dame and you don't have a conference, your entire thing is you come up with your schedule and you scheduled a bunch of cupcakes. Did you see their schedule for next year? It's even softer.
Yes. Yes.
It's like they're trying to guarantee that they have enough wins to be in that top 12 so that they can get into the playoff next year with this, deal that they've got made. It's like, yeah, fuck Notre Dame. I'm not a big Notre Dame guy anyway, but Rudy was a terrible movie and do away with it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we totally agree on that. I see Eric over there in the chat who said, Dave looks like he has something to say. Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah. Screw him.
Yeah. Amen, brother. No, all my homies hate Notre Dame. Screw Notre Dame. Who cares? And yes, to your point about their next season schedule, their schedule next season looks very similar to this season's, except for subtracting the teams that beat them. That's it. They're removing teams good enough to beat them and putting in 2 more teams they can beat easily, and that's their 2026 schedule, because they're already planning ahead, saying that, well, listen, if we go 11-1 or 12-0 against these 12 total bottom feeders and we finish in the top 12, we're getting in the playoffs. It's written down. We have a memorandum of understanding with the NCAA. Like, Jesus Christ, get over yourselves. I hate Notre Dame. Could you imagine? I mean, what other school would do that? Could you imagine any other school saying, no, we're going to go independent. No, thank you. We're not going to realign with any conference. But also, by the way, we get an automatic at-large bid if we're in the top 12. Just write that down. No one else gets away with that. You are laughed out of the league, except for Notre Dame thinks they can. I have absolutely no sympathy for them whatsoever. Get good. There you go. That's all right. We're done talking about Notre Dame. Dave, bring up the browser. It's time for us, ladies and gentlemen. Justin and I are going to talk about all of the college football games. Well, I don't know. All's probably a drastic way, but most of the college football games. And by the way, we decided to do this show this week because the college football bowl games actually start this Saturday. The season ended like 5 minutes ago. The first bowl game is Saturday. So we're kicking things off with the Cricket Celebration Bowl between the South Carolina State Bulldogs and the Prairie View A&M Panthers. Quick question, Justin. Quiz question number 1. Where is South Carolina State located?
I'm going to take a flyer and say South Carolina.
We need the city that the university is located in.
Oh, come on.
The only city I even know in South Carolina is Charleston, because that's the only one I've been to. I'm guessing it's not Charleston because there's a College of Charleston. So
there is. The South Carolina State Bulldogs football team is located in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Oh.
Orangeburg, South Carolina. That's right. Want to take a quick guess at Prairie View? I'll give you a hint. It's a lot easier. Where's Prairie View?
Ooh, I know.
Ooh, Dave knows.
Dave, where's Prairie View A&M?
Is it in Prairie View?
It's in Prairie View, Texas. That is correct. I need my ding and ant buttons. Dave, you got to help us out. It is in Prairie View, Texas. That's right. So for this first game, who cares?
I don't even see odds on that. Who's the favorite in this game?
Scroll down, Dave. It should be. We have to have odds. There's got to be odds in here, or there's not. There's just other news. No, there isn't. There's.
That's. I was looking at it. I was like every other game at least has like a spread and a over
Might
under.
be on a wider view.
Hold on. No. I got it on my side, Dave. I'm at the Prairie View A&M. Let me see if they've got a. For what it's worth, people playing Capital One Bowl Mania have picked South Carolina State to win. And no, there's not odds. There's not odds on here.
Vegas is like, nobody even knows who either of these teams are. We're not even going to let people bet on that. Like, just move on. Like, if you're trying to bet on South Carolina State versus Prairie View A&M, you obviously have a problem, and this is our intervention. Like, you don't get to do this.
All right, so the winners of the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Oh, where is the Cricket Celebration Bowl being played? Last one before we move on. I'll give you a hint. This is a huge hint in case you're someone who autistically remembers the names of stadiums. It's happening in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
You asking me? I've got a cheat sheet on that, on the where they are.
No, you're not supposed to be cheating. You can't look them up. Of course, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is in Atlanta because that's where they play the SEC Championship. That's where they're playing the Cricket Celebration Bowl. I already regret this whole stream. You can't cheat. You can't cheat.
It wasn't intentional.
All right, we're moving on to the next game. My Boise State Broncos are taking on Washington in the Bucked Up LA Bowl. What?
Whoa.
That's what it is. What is that? What is?
That's bucked up.
What's bucked up? What is that? Does anyone know?
Well, it's in LA,
oh my
so
God!
There are probably a lot of things that are pretty bucked up out there.
I've got it right here. The official name of this bowl game is the Bucked Up LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk. This is not a joke. I'm not kidding. The Bucked Up LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk. I'm assuming that's Rob Gronkowski, is hosting the Bucked Up LA Bowl. It's happening in SoFi Stadium. Where's SoFi Stadium, Justin?
That is in California, in LA.
Yes. I would have accepted if you said LA, but it's technically Inglewood. It's where the Chargers and Rams play. But this this is at least sort of like an actual game. Boise State being 9-4, coming off of their back-to-back Mountain West championships. Before they're moving on, they're going back to the reformed Pac-12 next year, taking on the Washington Huskies, who I feel like they peaked a couple of years ago, and now like they should be happy that they're 8-4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Washington took a big step backwards last year after going to the national championship and getting absolutely obliterated a couple of years ago. They still had an okay team last year, and again, same this year. They have an okay team, but it's they definitely hit the pinnacle of what Washington football is going to do. They are favored in this game, though.
Washington is 9.5-point favorites, what I'm looking at right now over on DraftKings. That seems high to me.
I was going to say, if I'm just betting the spread, I'm taking Boise State, but
yeah,
I would also take Boise State for the win in this because Washington is a little bit overrated, I think, in this game.
Yeah. The thing about Boise State is that they're kind of jank. So they used to have this guy that ran for 2,600 yards a season. He's not there right now. And their quarterback's kind of poverty. He's one of those things where for a mid-major, he's good. But for a mid-major that's like trying to like go undefeated or beat, whatever, Oklahoma, he's not that guy. So my gut is that Boise State's not going to win this game, but they'll cover the spread. But Justin, who's not even a Boise State fan, says, screw Washington. They're going to just lose outright. So you got your hot take there on that one. We're going to move on to the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. What is IS4S? Does anyone know? I don't even know what these brands are. It's not hosted by Gronk.
Right. If they're gonna do like weird names for the bowls, Bucked Up LA Bowl hosted by Gronk is like peak. That's the way you do it. IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. Yes, we all appreciate the veterans, but at the same time, it's like, give us a name that really inspires us to want to watch the game, right?
Oh, it's a company.
Yeah.
It's Integrated Solutions for Systems.
The Integrated Solutions for Systems Salute to Veterans Bowl. All right, Justin, where are they playing that game at?
That game is being played in Montgomery, Alabama.
You're not supposed to look at your screen. It's not really a quiz game when you're reading off of a prompt.
Oh, I thought
I'm reading off the prompt. You're on the quiz show.
Well,
Jesus
hang on.
Christ.
Where's Jacksonville State, Alan?
Jacksonville State is not Jacksonville, Florida. It's Jacksonville, Alabama. So don't question the host. You're the guest. I'm asking you the questions. Turn your monitor off. Jesus Christ. All right. Anyway, the Troy Trojans are taking on the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Jacksonville is neither a state nor is it in Florida. It's in Alabama. Who cares? But hey, look, they do have odds though. Check this out. Jacksonville State's a 3-point favorite. So, like, apparently that first game is so far down the pecking order. Yeah, didn't even have them. But this game is an actual game being played between teams that actually get a point spread. I watched Troy play in their conference title game the other night. They weren't that bad. I mean, they didn't win, but they made it competitive with who was it, JMU, for like 3 quarters, something like that. So I mean, it's not like they're. I mean, if you're a JMU believer, then you must think that Troy's not that bad. But if you think JMU is going to lose 8,000 to nothing in the first round of the playoffs, then you don't care about Troy. I'm actually going to say Troy does win. I think the performance we saw against a playoff team in JMU means that they're a better team than Jacksonville State from Jacksonville, Alabama.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Troy will win too.
Also, by the way, if you one thing I will say though is I don't know how Troy ever scored points or did anything because their quarterback is only marginally better than Creel, Jacksonville State's quarterback, and their passing numbers are like basically nothing for a starting quarterback. But Troy's leading rusher also has under 700 yards. So I don't know how Troy ever gained first downs for their whole season. At least Jacksonville State's running back has almost 1,700 yards rushing. That's a damn good running season right there. So I'm actually kind of starting to think maybe I picked wrong and it's Jacksonville State. Maybe they just run the ball down Troy's throat.
Maybe Troy does it by committee. They might have 3 running backs that all went for 600 yards.
Yeah. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Listen, folks, that's just mysteries of the ages that people like us who prepared for 3 whole minutes for this segment. We just will never know.
No.
Who knows? All right, anyway, we're moving on from that. We're moving on from that game to the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. This is not going well at all. The Staff DNA Cure Bowl between Old Dominion and South Florida. Now, I do know that South Florida is not a bad football team, but their coach has already left town. So you never know, like who's going to show up, See, this is, by the way, as a really quick aside, I never bet on bowl games. I never bet on the postseason. You don't know what kids are going to be sitting out, what coaches have already left for other jobs, who's entering the transfer portal, all that crap. It's just not worth it. It doesn't matter what you saw during the season because the team that played during the season lives in the past. These teams that are going to be showing up in December and January, who knows? We have no idea who's showing up to play. So just with that little gambling tidbit aside, Staff DNA Cure Bowl, Old Dominion, South Florida. It's going to be in Camping World Stadium in
Camping World Stadium.
Don't you look. I can see the reflection in your glasses. All right.
I closed.
I'm gonna give you a huge hint. South Florida's biggest rival is UCF. And this bowl game is where UCF plays football.
Oh, that helps me none. We're going to go with Orlando?
It's Orlando, Florida. That is correct.
Oh.
That is where UCF is Orlando. South Florida's in Tampa. And yeah, thanks. This is Dave. I'm not going to say anything. All right, the staff DNA Cure Bowl between Old Dominion and South Florida. Now, everything I just said about the teams and the postseason notwithstanding, South Florida's not bad. They're a pretty good football team. They could have been one of those playoff teams had they been on the right side of one better game. They could have been one of those teams. So my gut is that South Florida runs away with it for that reason. They also are 3.5-point favorites according to DraftKings right now. They opened as 7.5 though, which makes me wonder, okay, who said they're sitting out? I don't know. But my gut is barring major sit outs or transfers, not including their coach, South Florida wins. Matt, look at those gaudy numbers. Both teams' quarterbacks are also their leading rushers. Check that out. Don't you love mid-major football? That's so typical. Look at that. Yeah, both quarterbacks are also the team's leading rushers because they're, one of 3 good players on the whole team. That's just how it is. Jay Forte knows. I know Norfolk, Virginia, Old Dominion. Yeah, I get it. Hence the name Old Dominion. I'm not even going to ask Jay Forte. All right, who are you picking? I say South Florida.
I got South Florida in this too, because South Florida is one of those teams that, like, we talk about the guys sitting out. They are just on the outside of that. So if they've got guys that are looking to make a good impression going into the draft, they need a big bowl game. So they're probably less likely to sit out. You might lose some, but or like ones that know they're transferring, leaving with the coach. And that could be why the change in the spread, because of the coach and all that. But I think most of the key players will probably play.
I want to retroactively say I was looking at these two teams' most recent few games. Back in November, Old Dominion beat Troy 33-0. So forget everything I said about Troy earlier. Jacksonville State wins in a landslide. Put your house on it. Jacksonville State are all the way. All right. Moving on to the 68 Ventures Bowl. Does anybody know what's 68 Ventures, Dave? Yeah. I see you highlighting 68 Ventures. Does anybody know what 68 Ventures is?
A change agent for growth along the northern Gulf Coast and adjacent markets, as one of the largest developers, investors in the area.
Well, now that we're armed with that information, they're going to be playing in the Hancock Whitney Stadium, which is located in Mobile, Alabama. There's a lot of bowl games happening in like stadiums in Alabama where high school teams play. That's interesting. All right, 68 Ventures.
If you're doing football this time of year, know your audience, and your audience is probably in the South. So
this is very true. Plus, they're playing at this time of year, so they want to play somewhere where the weather is more likely to be nicer. That's the real answer. This game also actually has a spread. The Delaware Blue Hens are 3-point underdogs taking on the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns. I had a long conversation with Lyle. I told him Louisiana made a bowl game, and he said, which one? And I said, the one that's called Louisiana. And he said, well, is it Lafayette or Monroe? And I said, well, I'm pretty sure that technically, according to like everything, according to the world and media and everywhere, Louisiana Monroe is not called Louisiana. They're called Louisiana Monroe. Whereas Louisiana is not called Louisiana Lafayette. It's called Louisiana. So they're both the University of Louisiana, but the one that's in Monroe is called ULM, and the one that's in Lafayette is called the University of Louisiana. So anyway, now that you all have that information, the 68 Ventures Bowl, you know what? I'm going to go with the Ragin' Cajuns.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you look on your screen there, their quarterback is very shiny.
Oh.
So that's my pick.
Okay.
Yeah, I also am going to agree with the Raging Cajuns in this. They usually have a pretty decent team, so I feel like they'll do well. I don't know anything about Delaware. I assume it's a fluke that they even had a winning season.
Now, I know Delaware's quarterback threw for almost 3 times as many yards.
Yeah.
So it's Louisiana's.
But he's not shiny.
But I'm sticking with it. I don't care. That's all fake news. I'm going Louisiana. Delaware's in the Conference USA. I didn't know that. Conference USA has become the mid-major conference of like you know how the Big Ten now has teams like literally from coast to coast? That's Conference USA now. They have teams just from the USA. If you're from the USA, you could be in Conference USA. New Mexico State and Sam Houston and MTSU, Middle Tennessee, and Delaware are all in Conference USA. So that's pretty good. Yeah. All right, we're moving on from that one. We're moving on to we're on to Thursday, December 18th. It's the Xbox Bowl. There you go. I know what an Xbox is. It's the Xbox Bowl.
Oh, that's yeah.
The Xbox Bowl between Missouri State and Arkansas State, which is happening at the Ford Center at the Star, which is located where?
Well, we have a Ford Center in Evansville, but I'm pretty sure it's not happening in Evansville. So at the Star, what is that? Where is the Star? Dallas? Is this going to be in Dallas?
That's a good guess. It is happening in Texas. It's Frisco, Texas. Frisco, Texas. For the Xbox Bowl between... Yeah, it's not bad. Between Missouri State...
There's going to be somebody that tells me that Dallas and Frisco are actually 13 hours away from each other, even though they're in the same state, and I wasn't actually that close. But.
So I'm going to tell you the wisdom that I actually have to tell you who's going to win this game. Arkansas State, which is a mid-major who plays literally no one and still only finished the season 6-6, is coached by a name you might remember, one Butch Jones. Remember Butch Jones? I remember Butch Jones. He's building that program brick by brick in Arkansas State, apparently to a 500 record after like 8 years. So I'm going to say Missouri State by a million then. But Arkansas State are champions of life.
Yeah, if you got a mid-major that's 6-6 and back their way into a bowl, even if it is the Xbox, I have to assume that this was like they won some sort of an Xbox challenge or something, and so it's like, all right, the two teams that win this Xbox challenge that actually have qualifying records and aren't being invited to any other bowl, you get to play each other for the Xbox Bowl. So yeah,
okay, you're gonna love this. I'm looking at their most recent games. And Arkansas State also beat Troy 23-10.
All right, now I want to take back that Troy is going to. I also now think Jacksonville State is going to beat the brakes off of Troy. How did Troy make a conference championship game?
Decide. Okay, so first of all, and second of all, decide which of these is worse. The fact that Arkansas State is only 6-6, or the fact that Missouri State, who themselves are only 7-5, haven't won a football game since November 15th. It'll have been almost a month since they won a game, but they're in this bowl game.
Who do we pick to win this?
I said Missouri State by a million because they're playing the champions of life. And I'm sticking with it.
I'm sticking with it. You got to break that losing streak at some point, right?
Funny enough, those two teams that we mentioned that had beaten Troy, those were Troy's 2 conference losses, and that's why Troy made it to their conference championship game. So, man, what a small world it is. All right. Moving on. Oh, boy. Moving on to the Myrtle Beach Bowl presented by Engine. What's Engine? E-N-G-I-N-E. An engine, like a car engine, is who's presenting.
Like I-N-J-U-N, like the kind of engines that Jay Forte's cheering for. I guess not.
Myrtle Beach Bowl presented by Engine. Yeah, Dave, you try to figure out what the hell that is. Isn't Myrtle Beach the name of the town where Myrtle Beach is? Isn't it called Myrtle Beach, South Carolina? Okay.
Yes.
Pretty sure.
The Myrtle Beach Bowl is not played in Myrtle Beach. You want to take a quick guess? I know you said you didn't know of any other towns in South Carolina, so I'll give you a hint. It's not Charleston and it's not Orangeburg, but it's also not Myrtle Beach.
Not Myrtle Beach either. I don't know. I'm stumped.
Conway, South Carolina is where the Myrtle Beach Bowl presented by Engine is going to be taking place.
So
that's
Engine is a modern business travel platform. For group trips.
Hey.
So you guys check out Engine to come down to the 8th annual It's Too Late Live. Where's the button? Dave, where's the button? It's happening Saturday,
got one.
May is somewhere. We got. I don't know. Dave, don't click anything. I'm scared now. Here it is.
No,
It's over here. There it is. The 8th annual Sioux Lake Live Show, Saturday, May 16, 2016. Okay. All right. The Kennesaw State Owls are taking on the Western Michigan Broncos. The Western Michigan Broncos are 4-point favorites in this game.
Wasn't Kennesaw State in one of those HBCU like big fight broke out during the game earlier in the season things? I'm almost positive it was Kennesaw State.
Yeah. Which year? Which week? You're saying that like that's a rare thing to have happen. Now, Kennesaw State did beat Jacksonville State in their conference championship game. They won Conference USA. So, keep that in mind as you're making your prediction. Western Michigan. Okay. I'm actually inclined to go against the Vegas odds and say Kennesaw as well. Western Michigan did win the MAC. So it's basically, which do you think is better, Conference USA or MAC? And now that I say that out loud, it's probably MAC.
Is it?
I'm going to stick with Kennesaw State. We're going Owls over Broncos because there's too many Broncos and there's not enough Owls.
Yeah, but the MAC is mostly consists of like every team in Michigan other than Michigan and Michigan State. So it's like Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, Michigan A&M. Like that's the MAC.
Yeah, it is true that for years when ESPN would do their bottom 10 rankings of the 10 worst teams, instead of having like half of the rankings being all the different shitty Michigan teams, they would call them Directional Michigan. And that would just be all those teams grouped. So Kennesaw State versus Directional Michigan. I'm taking the Owls. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. The Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl between Memphis and North Carolina State. I'm going to give you a hint. It's being played in Raymond James Stadium. Who plays in Raymond James Stadium? Where's South Florida? Where's South Florida? We talked about this like 5 minutes ago. Where's South Florida?
Oh, it's in Tampa.
Tampa, Florida. That's right. Raymond James Stadium, Tampa, Florida. The host of the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. Memphis and North Carolina State. Does this game have odds? Oh, it does. Look at that. North Carolina State are a 5.5-point favorite. So this is a situation where Vegas. Now, this is interesting. ESPN Analytics actually says that Memphis is the favorite in this game, but Vegas currently has NC State as a 5.5-point favorite on the spread. Of course, this is Memphis, who is is an American conference team. There's an American conference and there's Conference USA, and the winners of those two conferences play in the Super Bowl, and that's who the world champion is. That's in Conference
USA, and now they're in the American Conference.
They're in the American Conference. Of course, NC State's in the ACC, which allegedly is still a major conference, but we all know that's not true. Yeah. So which do you believe more, that NC State, which is a 7-5 team that went 4-4 in the major conference of ACC, versus an 8-4 Memphis team from the American Conference? I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to say Memphis. I'm going to say Memphis actually cares. And NC State just,
I think I'm going to agree with Vegas on this because Memphis lost most of their coaching staff to Arkansas. So I think NC State will have an advantage there.
Quick note, Memphis has not won a football game since October 31st. They didn't win a game in November. And now they're playing a bowl game.
Maybe that explains why the Arkansas fans were so upset that that they hired Memphis as coach.
Yeah, I'm going to switch over to NC State on that. is what I'm doing. But anyway, all right. All right, we're gonna skip the college football playoff games for now because we're gonna do the college football playoffs separately. We're gonna move on to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Of course, I know you know where the Idaho Potato Bowl is being played at.
But the only place they play football in Idaho, in Boise, right?
That's right, Boise, Idaho is where the famous Idaho Potato Bowl is. You know, I remember that for years, Boise State, like when they first became like a Division I team and became bowl eligible, they would get the Potato Bowl because it was just, that's just who would pick them. The Potato Bowl would pick Boise State as one of the two teams to be in the bowl game. But it's like, that's kind of a drag, right? Because it's like you're it's not even like you're not even getting to go on a trip. You're literally just going to take a bus across town to play your bowl game that week. But anyway, the two teams that are in the Idaho Potato Bowl these days are Washington State and Utah State. Washington State being still one of the Pac-12 teams who will once again be a Pac-12 team next year. As quick side note, the Pac-12 conference this year was Washington State and Oregon State, and that's it. And just to prove how retarded that is, they played each other twice because they needed games, and they split. So it was a tie for the conference.
It's not the Pac-12, it's the Pac-1-2.
Yes, it's the Pac-1-2. Washington State did finish the season 6-6. Oregon State only finished the season 2-10, and one of their wins was against their conference rival, Washington State. I love college football. All right. The Utah State Aggies are actually 3-point favorites over Washington State this year. Both of these teams are 6-6, by the way. The Potato Bowl got two teams that are only barely bowl eligible. It's also another situation where the Utah State quarterback is also their leading rusher. So
that dude's got some real Josh Allen vibes going. I think I'm going to go with Utah State.
Okay. All right. Wow. This is so funny. Washington State lost at Oregon State 10-7 to go down 0-1 in the conference. And in the last game of the year, they played again and won 32-8. So I don't know what happened in that first game, but that only tied the conference at 1-1. Before that, they lost to JMU 24-20. That's pretty respectable because that's a playoff team. Justin, they only lost to a playoff team by 4 points. So, yeah. With that said, I'm actually also going to go Utah State because they only lost to Boise State by 1 point. And so by the transitive property of mid-majors, I have awarded Utah State the victory. So there you go. Nice. We're moving on to the the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans.
Oh,
I read that correctly. It's not the Bush's Beans Boca Raton Bowl. That is incorrect. It is the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans between Toledo and Louisville. That's being played. This should be a much easier one, Justin. It's the Boca Raton Bowl. Where are they playing the Boca Raton Bowl?
I mean, the Myrtle Beach Bowl wasn't being played in Myrtle Beach, but
that is true. But I swear this isn't a trick question.
We're gonna go with this is being played in Boca Raton, Florida.
Boca Raton, Florida. That is correct. It's not Conway, South Carolina. All right, the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl of Beans between Toledo and Louisville. That is an affront to God. That name of that bowl game. The word bowl has to be the last name in. I'm sorry, it just has to be. All right, both of these teams are 8-4. We're done with these 6-6 games. We're out of here. We're moving on to the 8-4 teams. Toledo was 8-4. Louisville's 8-4. Louisville is a 9.5 point favorite as an 8-4 team over the Toledo Rockets being an 8-4 team. That's mostly because Louisville was an ACC team, which is a major conference. And of course, Toledo is from the Mid-American Conference. They're not even Americans, they're Mid-Americans. Yeah. So yeah. Louisville lost 3 of their last 4 games. So that's not great. Their one win was over Kentucky, but who gives a shit?
Boy, they beat the brakes off Kentucky.
Yeah, they beat fuck Kentucky. All right. Toledo was on a 4-game winning streak on their side. So I'm just saying.
Toledo was pretty respectable. I thought they had a pretty decent team. I think I might go against the odds and pick Toledo in this.
Toledo's closest victory was 21-3 over the last month and a half. So I'm surprised that Louisville's such a big. I guess it's just off of that big win over Kentucky that Louisville is such a huge favorite in this game. Louisville lost to SMU 38-6. They lost to Cal 29-26 in overtime. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going Toledo. Brooks says fuck Louisville. Jesus. All right, we're moving on from this game. Tempers are flaring in the Bush's Boca Raton bowl of beans. All right. This is an easy one. The New Orleans Bowl, which is happening in Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, between Western Kentucky and Southern Miss. Western Kentucky was 8-4. Western Kentucky's a 4-point favorite. I mean, yeah. I mean, it is true that they lost their last couple of games, although one of those was at LSU, and it was 13-10. I know LSU didn't have a good year, but it's LSU at home, and it was 13-10 over Western Kentucky. Could you imagine? I would have loved. I'm sorry, Lyle, if you're here, but it would have been hilarious if Western Kentucky beat LSU. All right, and then they lost to Jacksonville State 37-34, who went to their conference championship game. So that's respectable. Southern Miss lost to Troy as their last game. Every single team is 1 degree of separation from Troy. Isn't that weird? There's something weird about this. All right. Yeah, I'm going Western Kentucky. Go Hilltoppers. And they also have a fantastic mascot, and I won't hear anything different. You know, that red blob, you know.
It's a red grimace.
Yeah, Dave, that's something for you to Google off camera. Google Western Kentucky mascot, because you should know what you're missing out by not being a college football guy. All right. We're moving on to the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Scooters Coffee. We prefer Fox & Sons coffee. But I guess Steve didn't sponsor a bowl game this year.
Do you have a Scooters coffee around there? The things are they're like fucking Dollar Generals. They're popping up everywhere.
There's
like every time I turn around, there's a new Scooters coffee. I don't know. I don't even know what it is.
There's Big Red, everybody. There he is. You like that, Dave?
Not bad.
Okay. I've never been to a Scooter. I don't drink coffee. I told Steve this. I don't drink coffee. So I've never seen a Scooters coffee. I didn't know that was a thing. But if it was here, I wouldn't go. And if you said, let's go to Scooters and get some coffee, I would order hot chocolate. So there you go. Yeah. The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl between UNLV and Ohio. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's the same UNLV who has lost to Boise State 8 million times in a row, including in conference championship games. Fun little factoid, UNLV considers Boise State like their arch nemesis, and Boise State doesn't remember that UNLV exists. UNLV hasn't beaten Boise State since the 50s, but they went into a conference championship game thinking, oh, we're going to get them this year. No. All right. So anyway, it's not even a grudge. I actually feel pity for UNLV for this reason, but I also expect nothing of them. They're 10-3. It's just they can't beat Boise State.
Damn.
Yeah. They're also 4.5-point favorites over the Ohio Bobcats.
Go Bobcats.
Yeah. I have to look this up really quick so that I know. Where do the Ohio Bobcats call home?
I don't know.
It's Athens, Ohio.
Athens. Oh, okay.
Athens, Ohio.
Huh.
I guess every state has an Athens.
So they're going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they're from Ohio. So could you even imagine?
They've already lost twice.
Yeah, they've lost twice already. And they're from the Mid-American Conference. They are mid. They belong in that conference. All right. UNLV wins. I hope you guys have been writing these down because me and Justin won't remember any of this the moment we log off.
And you should have been writing them down because if history tells you anything, if you just bet straight on what we pick, you would make money.
That is true. If you put $100 on everything we pick, I mean, you'd have some losers, but you'd have so many more winners than losers. You'd make money. That is true. All right. We're going to the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. The Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. This is actually a bowl game that like people used to be like, yeah, you know, if our team sucks, and we have to go to a sucky bowl game, let's get the Hawaii Bowl. Like that's a lot more fun than, you know, Conway, South Carolina, and Mobile, Alabama, and you know whatever. The Sheraton Hawaii Bowl between Cal and Hawaii. Imagine that Hawaii is playing in the Hawaii Bowl. I can't believe it.
What?
I can't believe it. All right. Hawaii did finish 8-4 this year. Cal was 7-5. Yeah, I know Justin will probably know this, but this is a quiz question for the audience who doesn't watch college football. What conference was California in? If you guessed the Atlantic Coast Conference, you are correct. Cal was in the Atlantic Coast Conference. That's right. Where they finished 4-4. So Cal is actually a 1.5-point favorite on the road against Hawaii in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. What do you think, Justin?
I think it's probably right. I think Cal probably wins, huh?
Hawaii is one of those teams where as soon as they have one turnover or miss one tackle, they're going to lose by 40. Just as soon as they meet adversity for 1 second of one play, the game is over for Hawaii. You want to go ahead and take a stab at pronouncing the last name of Cal's quarterback?
Let me hang on. I gotta blow that up and see if I can get a better look at it.
Sagapolutele. Sagapolutele.
Sagapolutele.
Sagapolutele. He's something. That guy, boy, Cal wins. All right.
Nobody's going to draft him in the NFL because they can't pronounce his name.
Yes. We're moving on to the Game Above Sports Bowl. This is literally called the Sports Bowl.
Go sports team.
The Game Above Sports Bowl happening at Ford Field, which is...
Oh, that's in Detroit.
Yes, in Detroit, Michigan, between Directional Michigan and Northwestern. All right, we've got Directional Michigan playing their second bowl game of the season. Is taking on It's just taking on Directional. It's Directional Michigan versus Directional. Central Michigan is the Chippewas, so that's interesting. They're not afraid to be who, no renaming teams around here. They're the Chippewas. Taking on the Wildcats, one of the 70 teams that are the Wildcats. Speaking of, the Wildcats are 10.5-point favorites against the Chippewas.
I'm going to say betting against directional Michigan is always a good pick.
Dave, could you scroll down really quick? We got to take a look at this running back from Central Michigan. That's right. His name is N. Biggins. That's what it is.
At least it wasn't in Biggers. Then it could have really been problematic.
Yeah, I'm going. You know what? I'm going Northwestern. I don't think Biggins is
Nah. Not the guy.
No. Let's just go ahead and close that window, Dave. Let's get out of here. We're moving on. Make sure to pronounce your T's instead of your P's. It's the Rate Bowl. The Rate. It's the Rate Bowl between.
You don't want to go to the other one.
No. Oh, God, guys, you hear we're going to the Rate Bowl this year between New Mexico and Minnesota. That's right. Which is happening where? Where is the Rate Bowl? It's in Chase Field, which is, of course, Phoenix, Arizona. That's where the Rate Bowl is. The New Mexico Lobos, who are 9-3 on the year, taking on the 7-5 Minnesota Golden Gophers. Despite only being a 7-5 team, they're actually 2.5-point favorites in this game against New Mexico. I think this is another situation where they're thinking, mid-major that's pretty good, but wasn't like, a conference leader going up against a mid-major or going up against a major conference team that is just flat out not very good, but they're in a major conference and they have a winning record. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think that's what this is.
The line on this is based solely on Minnesota's in the Big Ten. I think New Mexico wins this game.
Minnesota lost 3 of their last 5 games. New Mexico hasn't lost a game since October 11th. They won their last 6 in a row.
And they beat Utah State, UNLV, 2 teams that we picked to win their games. So
yeah, they beat those teams, but didn't get to go to the conference title game, which is interesting. But to be fair, they did lose to Boise State during the season, 41-25. So they already lost to Boise State. So it's not like a shoulda, woulda, coulda. I'm just pointing that out there. All right, I'm going New Mexico. Fuck it. Fuck Minnesota. New Mexico is going to beat the Somalis, 27-21. Calling it. No, neither of those teams are scoring that many points. It's more like 17-3. It's probably more. Probably more like it. Yeah. Sorry, Gary. Minnesota and everything from that state is terrible. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. We're moving on to the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl between Florida International and UTSA. They're going to be playing at the Gerald J. Ford Stadium, which is where? Where's the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl?
Is that somewhere in Virginia?
Yes, it is in Dallas, Texas, Virginia. That is correct. The Serve Pro First Responder Bowl in Gerald Ford Stadium in Dallas, Texas. God, how do these teams get bowl games?
Do we have
You know
to
what I
pick
mean?
this one?
So this is Team Florida. They used to always do that. They used to have directional Michigan would be in the bottom 10, and they had FIAU Florida would be another team on the bottom 10. So Florida International Panthers 7-5 taking on the UTSA Roadrunners that are 6-6. This is just awful.
The game's in
just
Texas. We'll call that a home game for UTSA. So I'll take that.
UTSA is a big favorite in this game. A few weeks ago, they beat Charlotte 28-7, which their abbreviation for Charlotte is CLIT. Check that out. It's pretty cool. Yeah. See that?
Beat that clit.
They sure did. They at CLIT. Look at that. It was at CLIT. It was 28-7.
They found it.
So I'm going UTSA, and but we'll never know if we're right or wrong because no one's ever going to see this game. They'll have to tell us what happened when it's over. We're moving. I said we weren't going to do them all, but now it's like we're so deep into it at this point that we might as well finish what we started. We're going to the Go Bowling Military Bowl. The Go Bowling Military Bowl between Pittsburgh and East Carolina. I thought they used to do things like the Military Bowl would have one of the service academies in it. But it's Pitt and East Carolina.
Ah.
All right.
Did none of the military schools qualify for a bowl this year? That would be sad.
I think they did. I think they're just in different bowl games. All right. The Military Bowl is being played at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, which is located where? Now, this is one you might get if you think about it. It's the Military Bowl, and it's being played at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium.
Is this going to be in Annapolis, Maryland?
Annapolis, Maryland. That is correct. It is in Annapolis, Maryland. Look at that. Pitt finished the season 8-4. They're taking on the 8-4 East Carolina Pirates. Pitt is a 5.5-point favorite in this game against East Carolina. East Carolina's quarterback threw for 3 times as many yards as those dog shit quarterbacks from that other game that we were looking at. He threw for more yards than both of those teams combined. So that's kind of cool. Pitt did finish 6-2 in the ACC, 8-4 overall. That's not bad. East Carolina was also 6-2, 8-4 overall in the American Conference, which I guess is also not bad, but it's the American Conference, you know. East Carolina just lost to UT San Antonio. Only had 6 wins, and one of them was beating East Carolina 58-24. Yeah. Of course, Pitt just got destroyed by Miami 38-7, and before that they lost to Notre Dame. But I wouldn't really say they got destroyed by Notre Dame. Like, they got beat convincingly, but not destroyed. They beat Georgia Tech 42-28. I'm going to say Pitt.
East Carolina always seems to show up well for bowl games, so I'm going to go with East Carolina.
You feel like because like they're actually like they're happy to be there and want to win, whereas Pitt's just like, yeah.
Yeah, East Carolina is one of those teams that they're in a bowl almost every year, and they almost always win their bowl. Like, I'm going to go with East Carolina.
We'll have to remember that one. I said Pitt. Justin said East Carolina. All right. We're moving on to the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. That's right. It's the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl happening in Yankee Stadium. So you know where that is, between Penn State and Clemson. First of all, they're playing a college football game in Yankee Stadium. And second of all, it's Penn State and Clemson, which are 2 teams that are supposed to be good, but they're not. They're really not. But I guess the logic here is that if we make Penn State and Clemson play each other, one of them has to win.
Oh.
Right? So Clemson's a 3-point favorite in this game. Is Penn State even going to have enough players and coaches show up to be eligible to participate in this game?
I was going to say, I feel like Penn State was at least competitive in a number of games this year. And if it was just based on how they played during the season, I would probably take them to beat Clemson. But with that uncertainty of who and what is actually going to show up, I think I'd go with Clemson.
This is so interesting because Penn State won its last 3 games in order to become. They had to go 3-0 in their last 3 weeks to get 6 wins, but they lost to Indiana 27-24. That's the number 1 team in the country now. It's 27-24. That's not bad. It's almost as if maybe they should have tried being like that the first half of the season, and maybe things would have been different. But they still fought to get 6 wins. Clemson has won their last 4. Their last loss was a 1-point loss to Duke, which I'll have you know is the ACC champion Duke Blue Devils. Thank you very much.
The ACC is a major conference.
These teams are just horrendous, just so bad. You know? And I don't just mean now, just in general. Especially Penn State. Penn State, so Notre Dame should have to join the Big Ten. Penn State should have to leave. That's what I think. All right. You know what? I'm going to go Penn State to finish the season with another win. And I'm going to pick Clemson to lose, but not fire Dabo, because who wants to coach Clemson? You have the only man in America who does. So you better hold on to him. All right. It's the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, which is being played at Fenway Park, which now you know that Yankee Stadium and Fenway Park are both hosting college football games. I don't know if you knew that. Now you do. It's UConn versus Army. So Army's not in the Military Bowl because Army is in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Fun fact, the Army-Navy game is this weekend. So they're in a bowl. I mean, they did get 6 wins, so they are bowl eligible, but their regular season is technically not over yet, but they're in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Because they're 6-5. They haven't even played 12 games. That's interesting to me. I don't know why. That they're a team that's still playing in the because this is weird, because what happens if in this weekend's Army Navy game, like Army loses their quarterback, like for this, he tears his ACL, then what's going to happen to everyone who bet money on this bowl game?
They beat UConn.
That is correct. They do still beat UConn, because UConn is just utter dog shit in anything that's not basketball. Except for UConn beat Duke, who's the ACC champion.
Major conference.
They also lost to Rice. So that's what a turnaround that was. Army beat UTSA, but lost to Tulsa. So anyway, moving on from the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, we have, this is actually a good one. We have the Pop-Tarts Bowl. This has been great the last few years because they literally have a giant edible Pop-Tart that's like pops out of a toaster and he's dancing around and shit. It's so awesome. I love the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Yeah, it's really good. The Pop-Tarts Bowl, which is in Camping World Stadium, which we literally discussed earlier this same evening, which is located where?
Orlando!
It's in Orlando, Florida. That's right. The Pop-Tarts Bowl between Georgia Tech and BYU. So I would say this is our first game that we're seeing between two teams that were both like actually certified pretty good. Both like were on the cusp of the playoffs, but lost big at the end of the year to knock them out of the playoffs. But that means they're both decent teams. Georgia Tech being 9-3, BYU was 11-2. So you mentioned that if it were up to you, BYU would be in the playoffs. Okay.
Yes.
Haynes King, who of course is Georgia Tech's only player, he just snaps the ball to himself and takes off. Playing BYU. BYU's a 4.5-point favorite in this game.
I'll take BYU on that. I think they have a very good team.
I do too. Georgia Tech is just like, there's a part of you that wants to take Georgia Tech because they're always right on the edge of good, like on the edge of very good. They're good, but they're right on the edge of very good, and they come up just short. Georgia just beat the brakes off of Alabama, and in the last game of the regular season, it was 16-9 Georgia over Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech's not a bad team. BYU got their brakes beaten off by Texas Tech twice in the last 5 weeks. But that's their only losses, though, right? It's losing to Texas Tech, who won their conference. They beat all these other teams. But I'm also going to go BYU. I actually watched a couple of BYU games this year, and that Brockmeyer kid, who is sadly only 12 years old, and I'm not sure if he's supposed to be eligible for college football, but damn, he's pretty good for such a youngster. So, and presumably Mormon at that.
Oh.
Yeah. So, do you think all the players that play at Notre Dame are Catholic?
Isn't that a requirement? Like, you have to convert
Well,
as soon as you get to campus, you have to convert.
Well, it's like, it's every player that plays for BYU's athletic department, are they all Mormons?
Mm.
Be honest. Not what they're supposed to be, what you think they are. Do you think every Notre Dame player is Catholic? Do you think every BYU player is Mormon?
Probably not.
Oh.
I'm going to say probably not. I'm just going to say probably not. All right. All right. I'm glad you're sitting down.
Oh.
There will be a game that will be played at Arizona Stadium between Miami, Ohio, and Fresno State. And that game is called the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop.
Yeah.
That is how you name a bowl. That is how you name a bowl. It doesn't even matter who's playing in it.
The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop, featuring Miami, Ohio, and Fresno State. So Gronk is hosting a bowl. Snoop Dogg's sponsoring a bowl. This bowl game is going to be on the CW.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
yeah, lots of interesting little factoids about this game. Miami, Ohio finished the season 7-6. Miami, Ohio, what's their mascot, Justin?
It says Redhawks.
Damn it, my cheat sheet says Redhawks. Yeah, the Redhawks are taking on the Fresno State Bulldogs. They're one of the 70 Bulldogs teams. Fresno State's a 3.5-point favorite in this game. Yeah, Fresno State. I mean, I guess I would take Fresno State because in the world of mid-majors, the Mountain West is a more serious conference than the Mid-American Conference is, the MAC. So, yeah, I think for that reason alone. Plus, it's not Miami, it's Miami, Ohio. And could you even imagine being in such a place? Yeah. All right. This is a great one. Where is Miami University of Ohio located?
Oh.
Shit, I used to know this. It is not actually in Miami, Ohio. It's a
No.
different place. And I'm drawing a blank.
I'll give you a huge hint. Think in your mind, Mississippi.
Jackson.
Oxford, Ohio
Oxford.
is the location of Miami University of Ohio in Oxford. That is correct. And they're going to lose. So,
Agreed.
yeah. What the hell is that? The Isleta? The Isleta, New Mexico Bowl? Is that like Spanish or something? I mean, it's the New
Isleta?
Mexico Bowl. Yeah.
So
It's the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. Between the Mean Green, the North Texas Mean Green sitting at 11-2, the runners up to Tulane. That was a good game, by the way. The Mean Green and the Green Wave. I watched that game. It's a good game. And the San Diego State Aztecs, the Mean Green are 3-point favorites. It's interesting that they opened as 6.5-point favorites and now it's down to 3, which that seems sus to me. But the Mean Green are still 3-point favorites. Dave, if you scroll down, if you check out C. Hawkins, the running back for Mean Green, he is the gray man.
Oh. Hat
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, it's Hat Man. That's Hat Man.
Without the hat.
So, yeah. Well, you take your hat off when you're taking a picture. So yeah, San Diego State finished the year overtime loss to North Mexico. North Texas finished the year losing to Tulane, but Tulane is a playoff team. So there is that. I'm gonna say North Texas because like all of North Texas's games are like 50 something to 30 something, 50 something to 20 something, 50 something to 20. I like that. We like that around here. So I'm going the Mean Green of North Texas.
Yeah. Hopefully North Texas put up some points. I want to see that.
I got to look this up for myself real quick. Where did the Mean Green of North Texas call home?
Oh.
Amarillo?
Shut up, Aaron. Aaron knows. It's Denton, Texas. Denton, Texas. All right. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. We're finally to bowl games that like have existed in my life. The Gator Bowl. Everybody likes the Gator Bowl. The Gator Bowl, which of course is at Everbank Stadium, which is where?
Tallahassee.
I'll give you another hint. We had this question already.
What?
Everbank
Yeah.
Stadium. It's where the AFC South leading team plays.
Oh, Tampa.
The AFC South leading team, not NFC South.
Who's in the AFC South? Fuck. Jacksonville. There we go.
The Jacksonville Jaguars play at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida, which is the host of the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl between Virginia and Missouri. This is actually an actual real college football game. This might be our first one.
The AFC South gets me fucked up because for some reason the Colts are in the AFC South.
Yeah. The Jaguars just took the lead over the Colts, and then it's Texans and Titans. All right. Virginia Cavaliers, who are not in the playoffs because they lost to Duke. Versus the Missouri Tigers, who finished the season 8-4. Missouri actually felt earlier in the year they were on a win streak. They thought that they could be a legit contender, and then they started playing like actual SEC teams, and then they're not quite they're not as contendery as they had been prior. They weren't bad losses though, like 17-6 to Oklahoma, 17-10 to Vanderbilt. Like those aren't bad. Yeah. See, to me. See, they have Missouri as a touchdown favorite against a 10-win team in Virginia. So I feel like they're basically saying Virginia is so pissed off that they lost to Duke in the ACC title game that they're just not going to show up. That's my gut.
I could see that happening. I like Missouri too. They seemed like a strong team and showed promise. So I'll go with Missouri.
You know what? I'm going to say, I'm going to say Missouri wins this game. I'm going to say that an 8-win SEC team that finished 8th in the conference is better than the ACC runner-up, Virginia Cavaliers. All right. We're moving on to the Kinder's Texas Bowl. The Texas Bowl is played at NRG Stadium, which is where? I actually knew this one. Where is NRG Stadium? I'll give you one hint. A professional football team plays there.
Houston,
Texas. If you had said Dallas, I would have had to kick you off the stream. No, that the Jerry World is not called NRG Stadium. It's Houston, Texas. The Kinder's Texas Bowl. The Houston is hosting a home playoff game against the LSU Tigers. I don't know if you knew this or not. LSU sucks just dick. They're terrible. They're really bad. LSU. I hope Lyle's. Yeah. Actually, I think Lyle is here. I think that's all shit. I think Lyle's here. Yeah. Houston's going to win. LSU's real bad. Yeah.
Was
LSU
this one
shouldn't
saying for like Houston got to pick who they played, and they're like, all right, you have to pick from one of the major conferences, and Houston's like, give us LSU. We can beat them.
Yeah, we want LSU. Yeah, they're holding up the signs. Yeah, that's right. LSU probably, of all those teams that were like, we're going to opt out of bowl season, LSU probably should have opted out of bowl season. They had good reason to. But yeah, Houston's going to win this game. Houston's actually only a 3-point favorite, which is pretty close. I feel like Houston's. Am I not seeing something? I feel like Houston wins this, and it's not that close. I get it. LSU's deep.
I think some of these odds overvalue being an SEC team or being a major conference team. I
get that LSU's
benefit of the doubt on that. That they don't.
I get that LSU's defense is really, really good. It is, but I also think they're quit. They've quit. They're not going to play in this game. LSU's practice squad is going to show up in this game and play Houston and lose. Yeah, I was going to say it is true that LSU only lost to Oklahoma 17-13, and that's not bad. They also only beat Western Kentucky 13-10. So. Yeah, that's Houston all the way. So we're moving on to the JLab, JLAB, the JLab Birmingham Bowl, which of course is in Birmingham, Alabama, not Birmingham, South Carolina. It's in Birmingham, Alabama, Georgia Southern and Appalachian State. I just can't muster the energy to care.
My buddy Jim says that Georgia Southern is not bad, and that's his alma mater. So I'm going with Georgia Southern.
Here's a fun fact: Appalachian State only got this game because so many teams opted out of bowl games that they gave it to a 5-7 Appalachian State team. They are not qualified for a bowl game. They were awarded it because of opt-outs. So for that reason alone, it is an affront to God to have a losing record team in a bowl game. So I'm going Georgia Southern.
Thanks, Notre Dame. This is what you left us with.
Yes. Although Dave just revealed Georgia Southern's quarterback is Jay French the fourth.
Whoa. That's pretentious.
There's no winners here. It's either the losing team wins or French the fourth wins. And you can see he colonized the rest of his team. Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Love it.
Georgia Southern's a 3.5 point favorite. All right, I'm taking Georgia Southern. The Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Dave, if you could figure out what Radiance Technologies is, the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl between between Directional Carolina and Louisiana Tech A&M FIU. It's Louisiana Tech. It's one of the Louisiana teams that's not LSU is hosting in Louisiana in Shreveport, Coastal Carolina. Yeah, I can't do it.
Whoa. They provide
What,
space
Dave?
solutions and warfighter support for DoD and NASA customers.
If that's true, then what value do they get from sponsoring a bowl game? Because we're not customers, right? Like you and me aren't going to go to the store and buy their product.
No.
So why would they sponsor a bowl game? Why do you think?
This has got to be some MK Ultra shit.
I don't know. All right, one guess. I know you've already looked at the screen. What is Coastal Carolina's mascot? What are they? They're the Coastal Carolina whats?
I don't even know what that is. I can read it on the screen, and I still have no idea what it is.
Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead and look that up for us. Well, Louisiana Tech is the Bulldogs. They are the second of the 70 Bulldog teams on our roster tonight. The Chanticleers, that's a bird? Isn't that it's a bird, right? What in the heck is a Chanticleer? Chanticleer. Oh, excuse me. It's here's fucking French the Fifth over here. It's a different but similar rooster than the gamecock.
Ah.
It's a gayer gamecock. All right.
Okay. Yeah, Jay Forte apparently knew that because he said, I'm the cockfighting expert in chat. Jesus. All right. The 6-6 game clock greens versus the Louisiana Tech Bulldog number 69. Coastal Carolina has not won a game since November 8th.
Oh. Let's go with Louisiana Tech in this one.
Yeah, we're going La Tech. Hell yeah. Somebody from that state has to win a goddamn game this bowl season. So we're putting all of our... It's not going to be LSU. Maybe not Louisiana. We're putting all of our hopes right there in La Tech. All right. It's the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl. Well, I happen to know who is playing in the Music City Bowl. It's the Tennessee Volunteers taking on some other team whose orange is horrific and an affront to our Lord. It's the Illinois Fighting Illini.
It feels like this should have been the Orange Bowl, but
yes. So Tennessee will always win against any team who dares to wear orange in their presence.
Remember early in the season when everybody thought Illinois was good and then Indiana beat them by like 70? Yeah.
Because that was the first game Illinois played against a team that wasn't like the Chanticleers. Yeah. Now, hold on just a minute, Justin. Illinois did finish the year by beating Northwestern. So, big dub. They're also led by Altmaier. Altmaier. So, Joey Aguilar, Tennessee's quarterback, actually finished the season as the SEC leader in passing with 3,444 yards. He's another one of those quarterbacks that threw for more yards than all the combined totals of all of those quarterbacks from the first 6 bowl games combined. Yeah. Tennessee had a very disappointing 8-4 season, but they're going to beat the fucking shit out of any team that wears orange in their presence. How dare you? How dare you? That's the only true orange. It's right there. That's it. All right.
It's like yellow. Yellow?
Tennessee's also a 5.5 point favorite, which seems low to me, quite frankly. But the over-under is 60.5, so apparently Illinois doesn't play defense either.
Yeah, that's why they got beat by 70.
Yeah. Lyle, let's go ahead and ban Lyle for 30 years, if you don't mind, in chat right there. Yeah. Tennessee wins. All right. Okay. The Valero Alamo Bowl, which is being played in the Alamo Dome. Where's the Alamo Dome?
That's in San Antonio.
San Antonio, Texas. USC versus TCU. Remember when USC was like a program that mattered? It's been a while, though.
Remember when TCU peaked a couple years ago, had their Washington moment?
Yeah, they did. Hell yeah. You know what? I have nothing but goodwill towards TCU for being the first team to hide their signals from the cheating fucking Michigan team. and then just beat the fuck out of them. All right.
But with all that said, USC is going to beat their ass.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just TCU struggled to a winning record in the Big 12. So they lost to BYU 44-13. Yeah, USC's going to win. Sucks, but you know, life's not fair. It's just how it is. The ReliaQuest Bowl. The ReliaQuest Bowl is also in Raymond James Stadium. Where's that, Justin? Look at him pulling his. We can literally see Justin pulling his browser up. We can literally see the light on your screen, dude. Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, the home of the ReliaQuest Bowl between Iowa and Vanderbilt. If this were like some random year, this game would be 6-3. But this year it won't be. It'll be something much different. I'm actually surprised that Vanderbilt's only a 5.5 point favorite. I think Vanderbilt beats Iowa by a lot. By a lot more than 6.
Yeah, I think the Vanderbilt quarterback wants to prove that he is the best quarterback on the planet.
Which is weird because he's not. You know?
But he thinks, and he wants everybody to believe that he is.
I won't watch this game, and I'll tell you why. I don't want to see his mother on the screen ever again. Now, his sister, maybe. But his mother, no. College football fans will know what I'm talking about. Look, he's good, but he's good for college. He has no future in the NFL whatsoever. He's a college quarterback. I think Vanderbilt... I'm actually really weirded out that this is 5.5. I think Vanderbilt wins by 2 scores, at least. Am I missing something? Am I wrong about that? Is Iowa secretly good and I just don't know it? They don't look good.
And say Iowa's always good. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Vandy in this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Iowa always has that really strong defense, but if they go up against a top tier type of an offense, they usually get beat.
Yeah. Particularly in the postseason. Like they saved all that for the Big Ten in the regular season. They're out of gas now. They're done. Yeah, I think Vanderbilt wins by multiple scores. I would even be willing to put that like on my list of like this is a good parlay pick. The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. What? Hell yeah. That's right. The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, which is happening in Sun Bowl Stadium. Where?
Is that Phoenix?
That would make more sense. It's in El Paso. Yeah, I don't know. The Arizona State Sun Devils, and it even has an Arizona team. Okay. The Arizona State Sun Devils are playing the Duke Blue Devils. Now, I'll have you know, that's the ACC champion Duke Blue Devils. Thank you very much. Right there. Duke is a 1.5 point favorite over Arizona State.
I'm gonna take Duke. I think I'll take the Darkness Devil over the Sun Devil.
Yes. You're talking about quarterback Mensa over quarterback Levitt. Is that what you're? Yeah. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's time for the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl that's also happening in Camping World Stadium, which is where?
Orlando.
It's in Orlando. You guys, I'm just helping Justin with his dementia exercises so that he stays sharp. That's why this is happening. The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. I'm old enough to remember when assholes used to say things like, you can't spell citrus without UT. But joke's on you, we don't even get the Citrus Bowl now. So, stuff that in your pipe. All right. So it's actually the Michigan Wolverines. The Michigan Wolverines, who are 9-3, are taking on the Texas Longhorns, who are also 9-3. This is two like storied blue blood programs that don't play and are now playing in a bowl game, and it feels like that should be epic, but it's the Citrus Bowl, so no one gives a shit.
Michigan has a lot of off-field distractions going on right now. I think that could affect them. I'm going to go with Texas.
I heard about that. Apparently, you need to be careful with who you're dating. I bet that guy watches Mashuko Tensei. So yeah, I'm gonna say Texas. Like as much as I don't want to put any faith in Arch Manning because I actually think he's a giant fraud. I think Texas wins. Yeah, I think Texas wins this game. I mean, who's even going to be coaching and playing for Michigan now? Who knows? Is Arch is going to play another year in college? You figure?
Yeah. He's going to keep playing in college until the right NFL team gets the number one pick. That's
all right. Okay. I thought he was going to keep playing in college until he runs out of eligibility, and then his football career is over. But anyway, it's time for the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. What's SRS Distribution, Dave? Yeah. Let's figure out what that is. The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, happening between Nebraska and Utah. Quick programming note. Isn't it super weird that there's more people watching the show now after almost 2 hours than there was in the beginning?
People are finally catching on to what we're doing.
It's great.
Yeah. All right. The SRS
Distribution is a large distributor of roofing and building materials for professional contractors in the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah. So there.
Well, I know where I'm going to be going to get all of my roofing supplies.
Yes.
That's going to be SRS Distribution.
Is there a more lopsided bowl game? Like, why did Nebraska get a bowl? Nebraska hasn't been good in, I don't know, since I was in high school.
Nebraska Cornhuskers, who are only 7-5, taking on the 15th ranked and 10-2 Utah Utes. Didn't Nebraska's quarterback hurt? Didn't Dylan Raiola? Didn't he like break his leg or something? Am I thinking that right, or is that somebody else? I don't know. No, I guess no. Well, he hasn't played in a while. So that might mean something. So I don't know. Yeah. He hasn't played for a few weeks. So I think he died. So a 7-5 Nebraska team with no quarterback versus the 10-2 Utah. Utah's a 15.5-point favorite. I think
that Raiola hasn't played in a few weeks and still threw for more yards than combined quarterbacks for some of those early games we talked about.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say Utah. I think Utah will cover. That. Hard to see Nebraska showing up for that. It's the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. I think we've officially, have we finished the bowl games now, Dave?
Oh, let me check here.
Or are we? No. Never mind. We haven't. I need to scroll further down. The Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl.
Oh, that's fun.
Between Rice and Texas State. This is, boy, you want to talk about fun. Once again, because so many teams opted out of games. The 5-7 Rice Owls. These aren't your Kennesaw State Owls, ladies and gentlemen. These are the Rice Owls, who are only 5 wins and 7 losses. An affront to God. Losing teams do not belong in bowl games. I don't care. Just give the win to Texas State. Just give them. Just give it to them. Versus Texas State, who's only 6-6. But we got to draw the line somewhere. So the Bobcats are 6-6. Rice is 5-7. Rice's quarterback.
Obviously, Rice isn't even a good 5-7. Look, they're a 10-point dog.
Yeah, they're not even a good losing team, folks. They finished 2-6 in the American Conference. We got too many bowl games. Is what we're. I swear to God, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna tell on myself. I was literally just about to say that their quarterback is also their leading rusher, but those are actually 2 different people. I swear to God, that wasn't racist. Those are actually. I just saw C. Jenkins and Q. Jackson, and I thought it was the same. I'm getting old. My eyes. I thought it was the same thing. I just saw a rounded letter and a J and a rounded letter and a J. All right.
I promise they don't all look alike.
Texas State has.
He's a cop.
Texas State's quarterback is Bo Jackson. That's B Jackson right there. It's pretty good. They have a surprising amount of white people on their team. So yeah, the whole offense is white. Look at that. How about that? Not the defense though.
Speaking of, could you imagine if Bo Jackson played in like today's NFL or like today's football, where they just take the best athlete and make them the quarterback and let them just run roughshod over everybody? Like,
yeah. And Texas State being a 10-point favorite, Jesus. It's actually weird that a 6-6 team is a double-digit favorite in any game against any opponent.
That should never happen.
Yeah. I think Texas State will cover, and then we will all be reminded why teams with losing records don't belong in the postseason. Then we're moving on to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. It's the Liberty Bowl. And don't you dare say it's in Pennsylvania. Where is the Liberty Bowl played?
Oh,
Is that one? That one's in Memphis, isn't it?
It's in Memphis, Tennessee. That's right. AutoZone Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Thanks, Dave. Between Navy and Cincinnati. We don't need to look up what AutoZone is, thankfully.
all right.
Navy and Cincinnati. So this is another one of our service academies who didn't go to a military-only bowl game. Navy finished the season 9-2. Well, I guess they haven't finished the season because they still got to play Army. So they're going to be 10-2 or 9-3.
Either way, they beat Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati sucks. They're just bad. just no good. At least they're not Bobcats or Bulldogs. They're Bearcats. So.
Man, bear, pig.
Yeah. Yeah. Navy's quarterback does have over 1,000 yards passing. That's not bad for a service academy team. That's pretty good.
He also has over 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah, well, that's less surprising, but yeah. Navy finished the season by beating Memphis and USF. So, pretty good. Okay, oh! Cincinnati has not won a game since October 25th. This game right here is being played January 2nd. It will have been over 2 months since that team has won a football game.
Oh, and they got beat by that TCU team that we were just talking trash about not too long ago. So
Yeah, we're going Navy all the way in that one. The Trust and Will, Jesus Christ, how many? Oh, all right, we're getting close to the bottom. The Trust and Will Holiday Bowl, which is happening in Snapdragon Stadium. Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. That's not.
All right, I'm getting it. I went to the next one.
They're actually both being played at the same day at the same time. So
okay.
Tough break, guys. You're going to have to choose which of these games you want to watch. You're either going to have to watch the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl or the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I know which one I'm watching. I know which one Dave's watching. Just for that reason alone.
Our Mayo.
Jesus. The Trust and Will Holiday Bowl in San Diego, California, between Arizona and SMU. Wow. I mean, Arizona did finish the season ranked.
I don't think SMU was bad, but I don't really know enough about them.
I mean, SMU was one of those teams that, like, they probably should have been, like, them or Miami could have been in the conference title game, but for some reason it was Duke. But then Duke won, so it's like, fuck all of us, I guess, because they won the game. Because that's a major conference. So SMU is from the major conference of the ACC, and Arizona's from the major conference of the Big 12. Arizona is a 3-point favorite. Wow. Arizona's on a tear. Look at this. Arizona hasn't lost a game since October 18th. They are winners of their last 5, including over rival Arizona State. So, man, it looks pretty good. SMU lost to Cal. So, probably should just be relegated from Division 1. I do actually. I mean, they did beat Miami. That's the reason why Miami wasn't in the ACC title games, because they lost to SMU. So I don't know. This is the type of game I wouldn't bet on, because it's like you have no idea.
Okay, we have to decide which major conference is the stronger of the major conferences, and then I think I'm gonna go with SMU.
I think that normally ACC is better than the new ACC is better than the new Big 12, but this year Texas Tech is actually good, and BYU is actually pretty good too. So this year, I'm going to go with the Big 12 team. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to go SMU, even though they're the underdog. Going SMU. All right, finally, Dave's favorite time of the year. It's the Duke's Mayo Bowl. The Duke's Mayo Bowl happening in Bank of America Stadium, which is where, Justin? I'll give you a hint. I believe the Bank of America Stadium is where a professional football team plays. Yes, it is. It is the stadium that an NFL team plays in.
Really? I have no idea.
Bank of America Stadium is Charlotte, North Carolina. The Carolina Panthers are still an NFL team as of this recording.
Hey, there's a chance the Carolina Panthers can win the NFC South. So
there's more than a chance because Tampa Bay's tanking hard. They're selling big time. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Duke's Mayo Bowl between Wake Forest and Mississippi State.
See, it's funny because Forte said he's picking Wake Forest out of spite, but I'm also picking Wake Forest because I'm a Mississippi State fan.
Oh, come on.
And I'm a realist.
Come on. Really?
If we play like the team that showed up for the first 3 quarters of the Texas game, then we win. But if it's the team that showed up for the last quarter of the Texas game and then the entire rest of the season, we lose.
Okay. Counterpoint, it's Wake Forest.
Oh.
So, Mississippi State has not won a game since November 1st. And that game was against Arkansas, who was 0-8 in the SEC. On the other hand, Wake Forest's last win was Delaware. Remember the Blue Hens all the way back at the beginning of the show? Yeah, Mississippi State. Okay. Oh, wait. Whoa, no, Dave, scroll back up. My God, no, all the way up to the top. I'm sorry, Mississippi State is 5-7. Get the fuck out of here. You don't get to be in a bowl game with a losing record. Get it? No, Wake Forest by 1,000,000. Get out of here. I'm sorry, Justin. Call whoever you have representing over there and get them out of there.
Look. When we lost to Ole Miss, I was like, thank God I don't have to watch this team again. We're not going to make a bowl. And then they give them a fucking bowl.
Yeah.
This has not been my year. This has not been my year. They wanted to stretch it out and into next year and punish me one more time.
All right. So, Dave, listen, we're done with the bowl games. It's time now. That's right, folks. we're just now to the college football playoff. Yes. So really quick before we go into these games. So Dave, all you'll have to do is just scroll all the way back to the very top and do them in that order. Before we get into all these games, Justin, just real quick, since I already asked you on your stance on Notre Dame specifically, I want to ask you on your stance on this. JMU and Tulane. I'm not sure that people are so mad that JMU is in. And I'm not sure that people are so mad that Tulane is in. I think people are mad that both JMU and Tulane are in. And a few other teams aren't. Am I off on that? Or do you think people are just being wussies?
I think JMU deserved to be in. I'm not as sold on Tulane. But, yeah, I do think there is a degree to which people are just being wussies on that.
Look, I think Rice should be in before Notre Dame. So we'll just put Notre Dame aside for right now. We'll put Mississippi State in the playoffs before Notre Dame. I don't care. But my thought is I've always been a big defender of the little guy. I'm a Boise State fan, back in the old days, back in the BCS days, all those undefeated seasons. Like, this is why we have a playoff, right? It's so that if you're a really good team, you have a chance. I feel like that a lot of people are jaded right now because they're seeing these teams get in, but they're not as good as some of those really good like Utah, TCU, Boise State teams, back when those teams were all mid-majors. Because those teams were undefeated and killing everybody. And they went on to win really big bowl games too. So they put their money where their mouth was. All those teams did. Utah beat, like, who was it? Alabama. TCU beat somebody. And then, of course, Boise State beat Oklahoma. Boise State and TCU were matched up against each other one year back in the day, which I thought was a cop-out. They made the two little teams play each other instead of play, that was so stupid. But anyway, these teams aren't that good. These teams have, like, losses. Like, these teams aren't perfect teams with high caliber players. So I feel like people would be less upset if JMU was 13-0 and had beat everybody by 50. Including, like, they actually had a out-of-conference game against, like, you know, a major contender and won. But with that said, I think people are rubbed the wrong way that there's multiple mid-majors in that everyone thinks they're going to lose in the first round, which they are. So even as a defender of a playoff format, yeah, they're going to lose. Yeah.
I agree. As long as they show up and make it competitive and don't, like, just get beat like a drum, then it justifies them being in. But yeah, I mean, if both JMU and Tulane get straight run out of the stadium, then it would be hard to defend that going forward.
Well, on that note, college football playoff game number 1. Number 8, Oklahoma. Number 9, Alabama. Of course, obviously, these teams did just play each other not that long ago. Oklahoma being pretty happy with the outcome that they got there. Interestingly, that, of course, obviously, Oklahoma had a few too many slip-ups, didn't make the SEC title game. Alabama makes the SEC title game. They get crushed, just absolutely destroyed by Georgia. But as they say, Alabama wasn't punished for making their conference championship, which I agree with that, by the way. I think if you're playing an extra game because you were good and you went to your conference title game, you shouldn't get punished. Now, don't tell BYU that.
But
don't tell BYU that.
But also, if you do get to go to your conference championship game and then you just get the brakes beat off of you, that would warrant punishment.
Yes. Yeah, they kind of did. I don't know what the heck is going on right now, Dave, with my monitor just went crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I think people are very sour on Alabama now for that reason. Like, I think a lot of people are okay with them being in the playoffs, but it's also true that if BYU were 10-3, not only would they not be in the playoffs, no one would have argued that they should have been. But Alabama's 10-3, and they just lost 28-7 in their title game, and it's like, oh yeah, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They also, right before that, they beat Auburn 27-20. Auburn was not good. They were not a good team. 2 weeks before that, they lost to OU. So, I trust me. Look, I'm not defending Alabama. Buck Fama. I don't give a shit. All my homies hate Alabama.
Roll Tide. I don't know. I just heard that somewhere. No, Dave, I need to see you for a moment. So we go through this whole fucking thing. We've been on here for like 2 hours, and your contribution to the college football is that. Yeah. I'm hip.
That's right, Jay Forte. Get him. That's right. All right. Anyway, this is what we should have done. We should have had the big Dave on screen and me and Justin.
Oh, yeah.
Justin, what do you think about Dave being an Alabama fan, even though he's never watched college football in his life? Oh, he left.
Wow.
Oh, he's okay. He's back. Thank God. All right. Yeah, that's how upset he was.
Brian, right, sorry. My internet went out and my computer just automatically switched to the hotspot that I turned on earlier, and
Nice.
I lost you there for a second.
That's funny. We all thought you literally just left because,
Rage quit.
yeah, because of that. I'm going to tell you, I know that Oklahoma beat them during the season, and I know that Alabama got murked in the SEC title game, but I don't feel good about this for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I don't either. That's like my gut says Alabama, but my brain says there's no way they're not that good.
I guess it comes down to like Ty Simpson for most of the season was like a serious Heisman candidate level quarterback play, but then obviously really bombed out here at the end, and it's like, you know, what is Alabama? It's hard to imagine that Alabama wouldn't be just rip roaring motivated in this game. You know, like Alabama, they're the kind of team that very rarely gets to go into a game with a chip on their shoulder, feeling like they're the underdog. They don't get to feel that way. They're Alabama, but they do feel that way in this game. Ironically enough, Vegas has Alabama as a 1.5 point favorite. Vegas says Alabama.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Alabama.
Our friend Aaron is going to be so upset if both of us say Alabama wins this game. Lyle says, I'm going to bed. I'm just assume you picked OU. That's right, Lyle. That's what happened. All right. Number 10, Miami versus number 7, Texas A&M. Of course, Texas A&M hosting the game, being the higher seed. This is another. I feel like, I mean, my SEC bias says Texas A&M, but I also feel like Texas A&M are frauds, and I'll tell you why I say that. So for one, of course, Texas A&M lost their last game of the year at Texas 27-17, which knocked them out of the SEC, being in the SEC title game. That was their first loss of the season. They finished 11-1, and because they lost the last game of the year to an SEC team due to tiebreakers, they weren't in the SEC title game. Sucks for them. And they did beat Notre Dame earlier in the year, 41-40. But let me read you Texas A&M's schedule really quick. UTSA, Utah State, then Notre Dame, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and then Texas, a game that they lost. You know what's really interesting about that?
That was all the worst teams in the SEC.
All the worst teams in the SEC that they didn't play. They're an SEC team that somehow didn't play anybody. How's that even possible? They did it. They actually did it. No Georgia, no Ole Miss, no Alabama. The highest one that they ranked that they played was Texas, and they lost. And no Oklahoma, no Vanderbilt. Yeah, it's nuts. So anyway, I want to say Texas A&M, but that is such a fraudulent. Like, is it possible to be frauds at 11-1?
All right, I'm gonna pick Texas A&M because I was watching the some CBS coverage over the weekend where they were talking about the selections and the playoff, and this female analyst said that if Carson Beck can avoid throwing bad interceptions, that she has the U picked to win the national championship, and I don't believe Carson Beck cannot throw bad interceptions. So I'm going to pick Texas A&M.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that, like, why is Carson Beck here? Carson Beck is here because he needed a fresh start, not playing for Georgia anymore. And he's just not that guy. You know, like he has good stats, but we know that when the lights are brightest, Carson Beck doesn't play great. So I'm gonna go with Texas A&M. Although I don't feel good about it, I'm gonna go Texas A&M. Texas, for what it's worth, Texas A&M is 3.5 point favorites. So I'm going Texas A&M. Number 11. Okay, now we're getting to these two. Tulane, Ole Miss. All right, let's talk about Tulane, Ole Miss. First of all, let's just say percentage chance from 0 to 100%. What do you think? Before anything else, what do you think is the percent chance that Tulane wins the game? I know that ESPN has their little FPI analytics, so they have their own percentage right there on the screen. They have Tulane at 16% and Ole Miss at 84%. What do you think Tulane's percent chance is of winning this game?
I think ESPN's a little high on that for Tulane.
I agree. I think 16% is still high. Yeah, and that's with Ole Miss having their coach down in Baton Rouge these days. I think that is actually going to work in Ole Miss's favor. I think the entire team plus whatever's left of the staff is so pissed off about Lane Kiffin that they're going to come out there and just try to literally murder everybody else who's on the field across from them. Like they want it to be bloody and horrible. I'm going to go with Ole Miss might cover this spread in a playoff game. 17.5 point spread in a playoff game. It's only made possible if like there's a critical injury or it's someone that you think shouldn't be there. Now, of course, it is worth mentioning that these teams did already play each other this year. What was the final score of that game? Now, Tulane played at Ole Miss, which they're going to be doing again. It was 45-10, Ole Miss. So I'm going to say, Ole Miss. And yeah, I think Ole Miss covers. I think Ole Miss has a higher than 84% chance to win the game. And I think they cover the spread. I mean, you know, I wish it weren't so. I wish that we could get, like, you know, I would love to see a mid-major make the playoffs and make a little noise, but it just ain't going to happen. And of course, finally, number 12, James Madison versus number 5, Oregon. It's weird. Wow. It's weird that Oregon was 11-1, but I feel like Oregon was just kind of slept on all season. Like this wasn't a season that had just a ton of Oregon hype as there had been like in the last few years. But they're 11-1.
So,
and there are 20.
I think it's because Oregon beat Penn State, and that was like a big win at the time. But then Penn State proved themselves to be pretty pedestrian the rest of the season. And they also follow that up by, like, Indiana beat them by 10, but it didn't feel like a 10-point game. Like, it felt like it was more of a beating than that.
Yeah, that was their only loss, was 30-20, Indiana. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's like, who did you play? And yeah, they beat Penn State in overtime, but we learned that Penn State wasn't a good team. Of course, they didn't play Michigan or Ohio State.
Right. Oregon is kind of the Texas A&M of the Big Ten.
Yes, I could see that. Is it possible to be 11-1 and be a fraud? Oregon edition. Yes.
Right.
But thankfully for them, they're playing a team that they are 21.5 point favorites on, the James Madison Dukes. You know what? The thing is that, again, you know, I always like rooting for the little guys. I'm happy that James Madison made the playoffs. I'm happy for them that they made the playoffs. The problem is we all know that they only played one team all year that you like even recognize, and that was a mediocre Louisville team that ran them out of the stadium. So, come on. They are the absolute most fraudulent, I would say. They're a one-loss team. I mean, Louisville is their one quality game, and they lost it. So they did beat Troy. So there's that. Oh my God! The week before they beat Troy, they beat the Chanticleers.
It all comes back around.
Yeah, and they beat half of the Pac-12 the week before that. So, yeah, Oregon's gonna win.
I would take Oregon to win, but I think James Madison will cover. That's even against Oregon, I think that 21.5 might be a little bit much.
I agree. 21.5 is a lot. I'm gonna say James. Jay Forte says he feels attacked. You can't just identify with every school within 200 miles of where you currently live or grew up. It's not how it works, Jay Forte. All right, really quick, because these are kind of all hypotheticals. The winner of Miami, Texas A&M takes on Ohio State. I'm going to say Ohio State.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter. All right. The winner of James Madison and Oregon plays Texas Tech. It's Oregon, but what do you think of Oregon and Texas Tech?
I think I would probably take Texas Tech.
I'm tempted to take Oregon. I know that we were just talking about that they might be 11-1 frauds, but I think also Texas Tech is a gaudy Big 12 champion. Like they are actually good, but the Big 12 is like the MAC. So who gives a shit? So that's how I feel about Texas Tech. The Alabama-Oklahoma winner versus Indiana. You think Indiana's got it in them?
Yeah, I think either way, Indiana's legit this year. Like, they're for real. Last year, they were good, but they weren't quite there, and you kind of saw it in when they hit the playoff. This year, it's another step up from what they were last year.
Do you think Indiana's quarterback is legitimately like a number 1 overall pick type quarterback, or do you think he'll get picked that just because he's a quarterback and teams pick quarterbacks?
I think he would get picked that just because he's a quarterback. I think he's probably more of a mid-first round. I don't know that I would put him as, break the franchise to go get this guy. But if he's available, in the middle of the first round, you might want to trade up to get him, kind of a thing.
Okay. So do you think he's going to be good for the Jets?
I don't think anybody will ever be good for the Jets.
Okay.
But that's because of the Jets, not because of the quarterback.
All right. Finally, Tulane Ole Miss winner, because we don't know who that'll be, versus Georgia. Ole Miss, Georgia. I think Ole Miss with their backup coaches are going to get absolutely demolished against Georgia. I mean, murdered. I think Georgia wins easily.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that.
All right. So since we're down to just the hypotheticals now, we said Ohio State for sure. You said Texas Tech. I said Oregon. You said Indiana. I actually didn't say. I'm gonna go Indiana because they're not playing Georgia in that round. And then we both said Georgia. So if it comes down, let's just say it's the top seeds for argument's sake. If it's Ohio State, Texas, Indiana, Georgia, would it be 1 and 4? Would it be Indiana, Texas Tech, and then it'd be Georgia, Ohio State? Is that how that would work? Yeah.
Yeah. It would be Indiana, Texas Tech, and Ohio State would play Georgia.
Yeah. All right. So there we go.
That Ohio State Georgia game would be a beast.
So Texas Tech, Indiana. Do you think Indiana beats Texas Tech?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Confident. Okay. All right. Georgia, Ohio State. Let me ask you this before you answer: is Georgia Ohio State the actual best game of the bowl season, and then we have one more game? Is it going to be one of those years where everyone's like, "Oh, that was
very possibly"? Although I think Indiana Georgia could rival it,
but Georgia has to get there.
Right? Georgia has to get there.
I feel like so. This is going to sound weird. I think Georgia beats Indiana by a couple of scores, because I think Georgia's defense plays the way they played against Alabama, and I think Indiana hits the wall. But I think they don't have to worry about it, because I think Georgia doesn't beat Ohio State. I know that sounds weird.
I can see that.
But that's what I think is going to happen. I think Georgia
I really want to see the Indiana-Georgia championship game, because I think that would be a phenomenal game. But I also think it's going to be a rematch of Indiana-Ohio State. And and I hate to say it, but I think Ohio State would probably win the rematch.
Damn. So you're predicting that in back-to-back years, Ohio State loses to a conference rival at the end of the season, but then wins the national championship.
Yeah.
I think I agree. After all of these games we picked, it came down to that, and we both said the same thing.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
I don't want that. Fuck Ohio State.
I don't want it either. I want Indiana, Georgia for the championship, but
I would like to see Indiana, Georgia, because that's how it would totally be billed as epic offense, epic defense. I would, and if it did happen, I would lean on the old axiom that defense wins championships if that did happen. But I think Georgia, I think that's what the fans are going to want, and then Georgia's going to blow it. That's what's going to happen. Georgia's going to blow it, and then everyone's going to get Indiana, Ohio State, which means a big chunk of the country is going to just be tuned the fuck out because it's the two Big Ten teams again. And then everyone's going to say, well, hopefully Indiana wins, because I don't want to see Ohio State win again, which is what's going to happen. Ohio State's going to win. It's the same reason that we're picking Alabama to beat Oklahoma. You just feel it in your gut. It's just what's going to happen. You don't want it to happen. It's just going to, you know?
Hopefully in a month we can come back and be wrong.
I hope we're wrong as well. Dave, bring yourself back, Dave. Yeah.
Still here.
Well, Justin, this is why we made this a community stream and not an episode of It's Too Late, because it has been 2 hours and 26 minutes.
My goodness. I have shit to do tomorrow.
Me too.
In our defense, Dave, we did just cover 47 games.
Wow.
So
didn't feel like it. No.
Oh, it didn't. Well, that's good.
No, that was fun. I had a lot of fun. I had no idea what you guys were talking about, but it was entertaining.
I mean, I had a good time. Justin, I hope we get to see you on the other side after tomorrow. But you know, if this is your final podcast appearance, do you have a final thought? Do you have a final thought in a very true final thought sense?
If I don't make it through tomorrow, put $1,000 on IU to win it all for me.
Dave, I'm going to assume he was talking to you, because y'all know I ain't got no money. Yeah.
Man, it's been pretty tight lately. Christmas
I
is coming.
have my son PayPal it to you.
Okay. Well, that's good, because
We can do that. Yeah.
Rent's due on the 1st, and I've got I don't know. I was checking my Christmas budget, and it turns out everybody's getting a hug this year. So, yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, not you. You'll be dead. I'm not going to hug a corpse. But I didn't. I was interested in the way you described the procedure, though. So their solution for your broken, diseased esophagus is to just slit it open and then tape it back together.
Pretty much, yeah. That's
Seems
why I
like
have
they
to stay
should
over-
just. Has
have to
anyone
stay
told them
overnight
that they wouldn't
so-
have to tape it back together if they just don't cut it?
I have to stay overnight so that Friday they can check and make sure that I don't have any like holes or leaks or anything where they tape it back together.
I think it's that whole take it apart and put it back together and it might fix itself theory.
Yeah, they're turning you off and back on. Which, you know.
It works a lot of times, yeah.
I'm pretty easy to get turned on, so
Yeah. No, we can't hit a button. We're playing the music already. I don't want to hear the unholy combination of Peep Show plus jazz finale.
Smooth jazz, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, I'm sure everything's going to work out great. Now that you've gotten me updated on the actual situation, I knew that you had something. I didn't realize that you basically haven't eaten in a year. That seems bad.
yeah, it hasn't worked out real well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just been eating egg sandwiches, and it basically did the same thing.
As soon as I'm able to eat a strict diet of corn dogs, 7 corn dogs every day.
Nice. I like it. Dave, do you have a final thought?
No, that was it. It was fun. Had a good time. Time flew. But I am tired.
Well, next week is going to be an episode of It's Too Late. Like an actual episode. And the Justin Memorial episode. And then the week after that's our Christmas episode with our stuff and our things and our Christmas guests that we have every Christmas. If you know who that is. I mean, it's
Can't
not
say it,
Justin.
though.
Yeah,
Not allowed.
but yeah.
I'll be dead. It's not me.